Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to my podcast. It is the solarkidd, and this is the other side of the sun. Today, I have Junior Tomlin, who is a illustrator, designer. Yeah, am I correct? Artist.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I'm gonna be talking to him about his art, about his latest book, artwork. That's volume of 30. What is it? 35 years of artwork that's just come out.
Yes. 30 years of artwork doing record covers and rave flyers for the rave movement.
Yeah, and that's such a sick concept, man. I mean, like flyers, the rave movement. I can't believe it's 30 years of the rave movement.
Yes. Because I started in 1989.
89. So that's literally like probably the birth of the rave movement then, yeah?
You can say that's when the music changed. It was changing from then.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the first record cover that I did was for Renegade Soundwave. Don't know if you remember them.
So I'm from South Africa, yeah. So like a lot of my knowledge would probably only come from like say the early 2000s, obviously regarding my age, and also maybe the exposure that we had to, the stuff from over here. I mean, like I'm not gonna lie, like when I was growing up, a lot of like UK artists that I saw on TV and radio or heard on radio, I thought they were American. Soul to Soul, Sade, I just didn't know any better, really. Well, I did personally, so.
Yeah. In those days, there was so much homegrown talent.
Yeah, I mean, I've come to know. I mean, I've been here now over 15 years, and I've come to learn so much about like, the culture over here, and like especially in terms of like black music, and like even in terms of like grime and rave and everything. I mean, drum. I mean, I used to love drum and bass and like garage and two-step and stuff back home, but like actually coming and being immersed in the culture and learning about it it's been a really eye-opening experience for me. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what you do and a bit of your background.
Well, a bit of my background is that I was born and raised in Ladbroke Grove.
Yeah, West London.
Yeah, good old West London. Never moved out. Yeah, lived there all my life. Yeah, the only time that I did move out is when I lived in the Hall of Residence up in Camberwell for about 2.5 years.
And you must have just wanted to come straight back, I'm sure.
Well, I finished my tour of duty going to college up there. The journey was just a little bit mad because you're talking about an hour just to get there. And in that hour, your enthusiasm just dies.
Yeah.
So I just decided that I'd rather live closer to the college than travel, 2 hours a day.
So what's that? That's south, isn't it? Camberwell.
Yeah. Lewisham Way.
Lewisham, yeah.
Yeah.
South London, yeah, southeast.
So, we've got this college now. I did a graphic design course. 3-year graphic design course. That would have led me to be a graphic designer, but I couldn't get a job as one. So I changed the entire portfolio to illustration.
Okay. When was that? Like, what year was that?
It was 1983, 84.
Yeah, it's probably just the wrong time then, isn't it? Because, I mean, they're so in demand nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah. So my first illustration jobs was doing computer game packaging artwork.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're talking
like 8-bit games and
Atari ST.
Oh wow! Okay, so we go in
Amiga 500.
Okay.
So I used to do a whole lot of the packaging artwork for that.
So that was like a square box with the packaging and like the leaflet inside and that kind of thing.
Yeah, because sometimes the box is very small, as you know. And sometimes the box was actually bigger, and you will have a poster inside, which is basically like either an A4 poster or an A4.
Yeah, of course. So you could have like characters and stuff. So you'd have sometimes you'd have a character in there that you could put on your wall or something as well.
Yeah, or a nice poster.
Okay.
So
was that for an actual company or like?
Yes, that was for various companies.
Okay.
Yeah, and done like quite a few. I worked for a company called Logotron Entertainment. Yeah, I worked for a company called like CRL Computers Rental Limited. That was bought up by, I think it was bought up by Virgin.
Okay.
Because I'd done 2 covers for them. Then they was bought up, and then they had to basically like see if they was going to release again. So they bought the covers off me yet again.
Okay,
so,
nice.
Quite interesting.
That's quite interesting career for that time as well. Were there many of you doing it?
Fun?
Were there many people like yourself doing that kind of thing?
There was a few. There was 2 other black artists who used to do airbrushing. Okay. That's why I used to use an airbrush, and I don't know what happened to them. Yeah, the years happened, and then you get further and further apart, and then before you know, you just don't hear from them, and you can't even find them on the internet. Like they've got no presence whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah, because that style, like I mean, like even that's one of your pieces in the background, right?
Yep, it certainly is.
So like that style seems like airbrush. It looks really like clean and sleek, I remember because there was a guy in Johannesburg who started like airbrushing, like graffiti art and tagging. So there was a guy who actually started airbrushing, and all of a sudden graffiti just started looking like nice and clean and really like artistic. I mean, that's really cool stuff.
The one behind me, that's vector graphics.
Vector graphics.
Yeah. Like, are you familiar with a program called Adobe Illustrator?
I wouldn't say I know how to use it, but I know what it is. One of my friends is an illustrator or designer as well, so he's told me a bit about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do most of my artwork with Illustrator because it's vector graphics and it can basically be scaled up any size without losing quality.
Okay.
So I prefer that than using, say, Photoshop.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that word because recently I've been like getting people to do some artwork for me. And my friend who is a designer as well, he said, make sure you get all the vector files. And now he's actually clicking what he means. So basically getting the file so that it can be scaled into any size.
Yeah. Yes. Because if you're doing it in say Photoshop and you wanted it to be like as big as the one behind me, that file size will be quite big.
Okay, and it's not going to be pixelated, or it's not going to look
exactly.
Yeah.
Because vector files don't pixelate.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I assume only people like yourself know how to use them. You can only open them up in like a program like Illustrator, isn't it? Or...
That's not entirely true, because what happens is that you can save out your file as a PDF.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can open it in like Acrobat Reader or any program that you can open a PDF in. Yeah, you can open up an Illustrator file, provided it's saved as a PDF.
Okay, but then can you still resize that PDF as well?
Yes, you can.
Okay, without losing any quality as well.
Without losing any quality, because the lovely thing is that you can create it the size behind it, or you can basically create it smaller, but tell the printer that you want the output to be bigger.
Okay. You see, I'm on a learning lesson today, man. I'm going to be learning about illustration and graphics from you today.
Yeah, I used to teach Illustrator as well, and I still do.
Okay. Wow. So I've read that you've been called the Salvador Dali of the rave scene.
Yes, the Salvador Dali of Rave.
I do love Salvador Dali. I mean, I don't claim to know everything about him, but I've always liked looking at his artwork. So what does that mean, like the Salvador Dali of the rave scene? Is that because of your work?
Yeah, it's because of the surrealist content of my work.
Mm-hmm.
Because my work now is like a mashup of like Afrofuturism, surrealism, yeah, and sci-fi and fantasy, all that mashed up together.
I like it. I actually like that word. I was going to ask you about that, Afrofuturism. Like that, is that a big part of your creativity? And like, what does that? Is that just like Afro sci-fi or drawing from the part? Like, yeah.
Yes, it's like Afro sci-fi. It's basically like the depiction of like black people in the futuristic, narrative.
So like Wakanda.
Exactly, because when you sort of like look at what Black Panther, you're basically saying that is like the epitome of Afrofuturism.
With all like the vibranium and all the powers and the technology and
like it's like if the African continent was left alone and the black people started to advance with the right technology, they will be in like that higher state that they're in now. But because they're being like colonized, they can't basically like create their own little utopia.
Yeah,
because they're always in debt to someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's the history of that colonization as well, because when they left, they still basically kept a hold over, the countries that they were in.
Yeah.
And then created this.
It's basically like they left, they locked the door, but kept the keys.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly that. And then basically they gave one key to maybe like the political leader, or like half a key to one of the political leaders, so that they can live okay or whatever. And then the majority of the country are just like, trying to fight for scraps.
Yeah, and then when you don't know it, they probably sort of like make another copy of the key and then sell it to someone else.
Yeah, probably China or something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think the Chinese probably made their own keys, man, and now they're coming in.
No, what the Chinese did do is that they bought the lock.
Ah. And then they sell like, but it's basically African. Yeah, no, because I've noticed that. I've noticed that all over South Africa and in Africa, like the Chinese presence has like it's increased like dramatically in the last 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, the good thing is that they are providing infrastructure for the locals and stuff, but then also I can see that they're starting to encroach on like taking, how can I say, profit from the economy. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say stealing, because they are selling and they are creating business, but it's interesting. It's interesting what's happening.
But it's because it's just another foothold. Because if you can't get your say your minerals, your gold, your precious metals out of your own country, and you've got a vast continent like Africa, which is still untapped, why not go over there?
Yeah, let's just go over there. Yeah.
Yeah, you go over there. You do deals where you know that the people are so hell bent getting their hands on like more money. So you basically got them half in your pocket already because they're greedy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the politicians are doing. They're selling away the country for, this disposable income.
Yeah, because one day, an African man will be born, and then he's gonna wake up, look out his window, but really he's woke up in Africa. No, he's woken up in China.
Woken up in China.
Oh,
yeah, I've seen like people are even learning Mandarin and stuff like that in South Africa now.
Yeah, Africa for the African.
Yeah, I mean that's the premise, and the thing is, like, for me, it's weird because, I mean, even before I left South Africa, I was very involved in like Black consciousness and Black consciousness movement and Steve Biko, Martin Garvey, and Pan-Africanism. I was a poet, and I used to perform like poetry and stuff. But it's actually more since I've come here that I've understood how big the scale of this thing is, and like how, not helpless, but like, I mean, I feel like people in the diaspora in England and in the States and stuff like do a lot in terms of like trying to provide for the country. But the people in the country are not seeing above this threshold. You know what I mean? A lot of them don't realize that there is this bigger picture,
Yeah, they fail to see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're worried about their everyday living rather than thinking about what their children, what their grandchildren and their children's children is going to eat, or what the state of the country is.
I suppose. I mean, you can't blame it. I mean, if people are like, I mean,
you can't blame them. But there should be like things like put in place here. It's like if any foreign power comes to your country, yeah, you have to put in certain things in place here where you're not selling your land, because you can't get land back after you sold the land. Guess what? It's someone else's.
Yeah.
So selling your land is like selling parts of your country.
Yeah. I mean, it's like me selling parts of my body. I mean, like literally. Yeah. And I see billboards recently, like in the past few years. Like I go on the train and I see like these billboards, buy land in Africa and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like, what?
Yeah. A nice one when you said it's like you selling parts of your body. It's like, put it this way: can you imagine if you sold both your hands, and then you're not permitted to eat?
And then someone else has to feed you, isn't it?
Yes.
You're sitting there and you're going to basically have to come and take, wait for the next person.
And by the time, and when you want to use your hands, there's a surcharge. And that's how they get you.
Yeah, it's really like it's sometimes frustrating talking about these things, but I do feel positivity in the sense that many people are waking up, and like a lot of us and a lot of people in Africa and around the world are starting to understand what needs to be done and how to like kind of, mobilize yourself, especially the younger people of today that have the internet. You can see, when I was growing up, we didn't have internet or anything. I'm sure obviously the same for you. But now I'm noticing this generation of between 16 to 22, they seem switched on, man. And also like the global culture is much more united in a sense, So I think a lot of people are starting to realize this. And I'm hoping that in future, like with people like myself, with people from the diaspora, taking things home or spreading and like helping and sharing information and knowledge and tools and skills, that it will eventually get to that stage,
Yeah, because all it is like one country at a time.
Yeah.
Once you got like a stable infrastructure and a stable country where there's going to be no war, no famine, and it basically works just fine because you've got a model. You try, you can go to another African country and say, we've got this model that works. Are you interested? Yeah. And that's how you can basically unite the different states in Africa to think in the same way.
In principle, yeah. In principle, I'd say, yeah. But then you must remember, it's not even long ago that we had these xenophobic attacks in South Africa. Like people within South Africa attacking Zimbabweans or people from outside of South Africa. Literally because of, I'd say, ignorance, to a large extent.
Yeah, because that's the a legacy of like colonialism.
Apartheid, yeah.
Yeah, because once you put a border anywhere, you're trying to say that person, those people are better than this people, these people are better than that people, and that is where you get your conflict. Rather than they're not seeing the whole picture that if this is Africa and you're all in it, you're all Africans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the lines.
Yeah.
Even though that person might speak a different dialect to you, guess what? You can both learn each other's dialect, and then you can have more of a future dialogue.
Yeah, we have to just keep the conversation going, man. Like, you know what I mean? Literally. But yeah, I think we just slightly went off. I just wanted to talk about, a bit more about the Salvador Dali thing, man. Like,
yes.
What are your... Yeah, I just want to talk a bit more about the Salvador Dali.
Yeah, because the Salvador Dali thing, it came about when I was I went to the offices of Kicking Records.
Okay.
And that is the company that I used to do a lot of record covers for.
Kicking Records.
Yeah. And they used to have like fan mail. People used to send the manager letters saying, oh, yeah, I really like this track, this, that, and other. So there was one particular day where I went in and Peter Harris, the guy who used to own Kicking Records, he showed me this letter. And at the bottom of the letter, it says, tell Junior Tomlin he is the Salvador Dali of Rave.
Sick.
Yeah. That was from me doing record covers. but it then later got it translated into like doing like rave life, and they're sort of like kept that name ever since.
I mean, record covers, and even like posters for events and stuff is such an important part of the music itself. Like I mean, maybe not. I mean, I suppose it still is now, but I mean, more so when you could actually buy a physical, piece of artwork where you'd like, whether it was a record or cassette or whatever, and you take out the sleeve and there's like, bits inside and you can actually look at it, stuff like that. Yeah, that's really was such an important part of. I mean, still is.
Yeah, because it was so much better then, because people were releasing their albums and 12-inch singles that people need artwork for. So your artwork is seen in the 12x12 format. And then sometimes that format is like changed to cassette form, and you know how big a cassette is.
Yeah.
But this artwork, like you corrected, which is this big, gets done squared down into that size, and then even worse, down into a cassette size, so it just gets smaller and smaller. But it's quite interesting. So you can put in a level of detail in it, but when it gets scaled down into like a cassette, a lot of the detail is lost, and it's just an image.
I see.
But it was fun doing it because
so do you still do any now?
Yes.
You still creating artwork for?
Yeah.
Is it only specifically rave or anything else?
Whoa, yeah, it's happy hardcore.
Happy hardcore.
Yeah.
You DJ?
No, I don't DJ. I like music, but I really liked to DJ at one point. I was on a internet radio show where I was basically the digital DJ.
Okay.
I was basically like typing what I needed to say.
So digital selector.
Yeah, plus selecting the music, talking about it, and sharing with them the music that I've selected, so they can basically find it on YouTube.
So when you say like hardcore rave, like what is that? Like proper progressive, or what kind of hardcore rave? Like proper dance music, like?
It's like old school. Have you ever heard the term old school rave?
I've heard old school rave, but what kind of falls into that category? Like, do you have any?
It's like more electronic. It's not jungle. It's not drum and bass. Yeah, it's just happy hardcore.
Happy hardcore.
Hard, fast, repetitive beats.
Okay. That's your thing. I mean, so. So does that mean that you had an experience with a lot of psychedelics back then, or? Because I know that music is synonymous with that kind of thing.
Yeah, psychotropic drugs and things like that. Well, I went to a few raves, and I had an interesting experience where I was showing somebody my artwork, and they asked me a question. They said, "Do you take drugs?" And I said, "No." And they said, "Why not?" And another good one, was somebody looked at my pictures in the art gallery, and they said, they said to me, "I would like to have what you're on."
So is it safe to say you've never done that kind of stuff, or you're not indulging?
No, I need a clear head to do artwork.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I relate to that. So you've never been like, oh, I need to get high, I need to do this, and like self-loathing, and some of these serious artists like get into these states to kind of inspire creative stuff like that.
No. Yeah, I'm not like some of those old, like you said, sci-fi writers who need to be in a drug-induced mental state in order for them to write.
Yeah,
it has to come purely from the head.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's really interesting because I mean, like you said, that person asked you, "I want to have what you on." Because some of your artwork does look like that. I mean, it looks like, this guy was probably in some, deep, like some heavy, tripped out state, man.
And see, the other thing about also creating artwork here is that what you also believe can translate itself into little pieces into your artwork. So you can look in my art and you can find little iconography in there that you can relate to. Not all of it has got it.
In terms of like what, like you believe in terms of like spirituality or?
Yeah, say spirituality, like, and things like dolphins and wildlife and things like that, and say Mother Nature. It's all contained in the artwork in some shape or form, depending on what the brief is.
Okay. So do you only work specifically to brief, or do you like just get creative? You know what I mean?
I like to get creative. A lot of the time when I'm doing like record covers, it's basically like they just tell me the name of the track.
And then it's like, just go wild.
And sometimes the name of the track basically denotes what the image is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
some of the rave flyers is nearly the similar thing. But there are, rave organizers who basically tell you, I want A, B, and C on the flyer. And it doesn't really make for a great piece of art sometimes because the idea does not gel.
Mm.
There's one particular one here was called "The Pineapple Is on One."
Well, when you say that, I think of a pineapple with headphones, having a drink, or looking really like.
Yeah. So this is how the guy described the cover that he wanted. He wanted a man and a woman standing up, next to an open doorway, pointing towards the doorway, and in the doorway, you could see a pumpkin. So it was like a Halloween type rave.
Okay, I see. Okay.
So, in other words, it's like somebody draws you a picture, and all you do is like basically fill it in. There's no creativity in that. Rather than leaving me to do my thing, they've basically like painted the picture that you basically have to adhere to. Then you're like painting by numbers.
No, but I can completely relate to that, because I mean, sometimes if I'm doing a mix for someone and then people like when you're listening to music or when you're listening to like a mix, it's so subjective sometimes, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I hear things slightly differently to how you hear it. So they'll be like, I want this to be warmer, I want this to sound a bit more blue, for argument's sake. And I'm like, what? What do you want me to do? Like?
You know what I mean? They're talking in a totally different language. Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I want it to be warmer. Oh yes, I can put some red in it.
But that could be red, it could be orange, it could be yellow, it could be what? Like so many.
Yeah. I want you to do a sound that sounds hot.
Yeah, literally. Oh man.
So your brain is baffled here by someone else's idea of what you do. So the point here where it basically throws you off a bit because you're trying to work out their way of thinking.
I think that's a lot of it, like especially even in my field, is like trying to, how can I say, appease people's understanding of thoughts of how they want to perceive the music. And I feel like a lot of the time it's like I use confidence to convey my ideas, rather than the actual product, because like I feel sometimes you sort of subliminally program people to believe that is what they want, because otherwise they can keep asking for changes and saying no, that's not the right way, especially if you try and be too technical and explain things in your lingo. They don't,
Yeah, but it's easy when someone says, I want it to be more ethereal. Like you could literally hear that, the angels singing. That sound.
Yeah, no, I get a lot about that, man. Oh my goodness. Do you do any music? Do you play any? I remember on the Zoom podcast we were doing for the Committing Arts, you were playing some djembe and stuff as well. Do you get involved?
Yeah, I play djembe. I play bongos. I play a bit of like percussion.
Okay, so do you go and jam with the guys at the village and that? Or?
I haven't jammed with them for flipping ages, really. there was about 2 months ago, not last month. Yeah, we done like something for the Grenfell
Remembrance.
Grenfell, remembrance. We drummed for about 20 minutes at Paris Square, and then we went down to the Wall of Truth, and then with like 9 other drummers, we drummed for an hour.
Okay. Was that with?
Yeah, that was with Niles and
Niles and him. Okay, yeah. Because I was just gonna say, yeah, Grandpa and those guys. God, no.
Yeah.
Okay, sick, man. Yeah. So also, no, Karen.
Yeah, and then sometimes, because if you remember, like last year and the year before, every Sunday they used to have like a little gathering of drummers.
Yes, yeah.
In Portobello Road.
Yeah.
And sometimes I used to join them.
Okay. So do you know a guy called Dembes Tong? He's from West Africa. He's West African. He leads the African drumming. He also goes there to the village sometimes. He's usually there a lot actually. He teaches Dembes.
Oh, Dembe.
Yeah, Dembe. Dembe.
Yes, I know him. He reskinned my drum and he done an awesome job.
Yes.
Yeah. I have to go back to the village because hello?
Yeah, what happened to your picture? You're back.
I have to go back to the village to get my drum tightened, so to speak.
Yeah, I need to get mine actually. I played with him. I actually played bass with him for a gig at Hootenanny last year as well. So I was rehearsing with him. Yeah. So I mean, I used to, Hootenanny. So I used to go and jam there a lot, but like because I live a bit further now, it's just harder for me to get down to Ladbroke Grove and West London. You know, I've got kids as well and stuff, so it's a bit harder to get down there all the time.
Yeah.
I do try sometimes when I have some free time just to go and jam with the guys and.
Yeah. So what area do you live in?
I live in northeast now. So you know Enfield. I live in just past Enfield, past Waltham Cross. So it's Cheshunt.
Yes. So now it's like what's that? 1 hour 20 minutes out in a way. Or
yeah,
like
literally. That. I mean, if it's a good day, then it will take like under an hour, 50 minutes or so. But I mean, if it's like a typical Sunday traffic day, then you're gonna be it's gonna be a while. I mean, I would take the train, but otherwise, it's sometimes a bit long.
Yeah, you're on the train, and then you basically have to have like your mask and everything.
I've actually only last week was the first time I had to experience that. You know, what's your take on the whole? I mean, because I drive a lot, and obviously I've been locked down, so I haven't been out much. But what's your take on the lockdown so far, and what's your experience been like?
My experience hasn't been too bad, but the whole lot of things with like COVID and the deaths, some things don't make sense. Yeah, you can't really put your finger on it yet, but things don't make sense, and the information that the government tell you sounds not right. They're giving people they're making people more confused. Yeah, and it's like every month it goes on, the more confusing that things get. It does not add up.
I think what you said first is literally how I feel. Is like there's something that you just can't put your finger on. Like I can't understand. It just doesn't make sense to me, all of this. I mean, I see there's people dying, and I know that people have been affected. But I don't know. It's just something I can't put my finger on. I can't explain what it is. It just doesn't feel right.
The more you can't put your finger on it, the more you're thinking of like, say, the conspiracy theories. That makes it even worse because your mind will start to run rampant with all what you know, all what you hear, plus personal history and the history of the peoples. Then you're thinking it can only go down that way. And now they're calling everybody of the ethnic origin like babe.
That is such a weird one that they came out with this whole only people of like the high risk people of ethnic origins are all high risk.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the name BAME,
As a Black, Asian, and what what does it stand for, BAME?
Oh, something minority.
Minority or ethnic. Yeah.
So if you take those letters and you add an L, you get blame. So it's nearly like they're blaming us, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I mean, like you were saying, even about the conspiracy theories, like it's so easy. Like when it started in March, I think I spent a few weeks just going in on all these conspiracies and everything, and my brain was just going mad. I was watching David Icke. I don't know if you've seen much of it.
David Icke.
There's this guy called Pharaoh from the States who was going in on the government as well. He expounds all these conspiracy theories and then after 2-3 months I was just like, nah, enough of this. I can't.
Because the more you think about conspiracy, that when you say that if there's no conspiracy, it just means that the government is totally incompetent. And the government would wear that badge with honor, the incompetence banner.
Yeah, it's really it's sad, man.
Yeah. And then now you're also thinking, I think in the terms of where you've got a pandemic, but certain countries are, what's that word, weaponizing the pandemic to basically get rid of a whole lot of their population.
It's deep. It's really sad. I mean, I've seen in South Africa how oh my God, it's really bad, and the corruption and how the people have been using the pandemic, the government, you know what I mean, just oh my word, and the people have been stressed out, man. Do you know in South Africa they basically people couldn't buy cigarettes or alcohol for the last 3 months.
They'll be going mad.
That's what I mean. They've been people have been going crazy. Plus, people live in such close proximity to each other. If you think in townships and those types of places, people be going mad. You know, I mean, South Africa already has one of the highest rape. You know what I mean? How can I say? We have the highest rape statistics in the world. You know, people are probably today was the first day that they've actually allowed people to buy cigarettes and alcohol. So can you imagine, after all that time, all this building up now, people are probably going to go crazy though, man.
Yeah.
It's like you're holding a bull against a fence for so long, and now you open the fence, and this guy's going to go and just go and...
Yeah, because at the end of it, a whole lot of people will have mental issues because now they're free, because 3 months of captivity.
Yeah, literally 3 months
and now they're free.
And then this vaccine business as well.
What business as well?
The vaccine that they want to start testing in Africa as well. Because of why
are they testing it in Africa, of all places?
I don't know. Apparently, it's part of the same reason of this. I don't know if it's the resistance. I'm not. I mean, I don't want to be misquoted or give the wrong information, but there's something to do with, I don't know, the resistance of Africans and the fact that they can work out faster, because of the genetics of African people, they can work out quicker how it reacts, or something like that. I mean, I'm being very vague in that description, but
but it still sounds like blame to me.
Oh, literally.
We have to protect all of those people.
Oh yeah, literally, man. Let's move a bit away from the COVID thing, man. Tell us a bit about you've been credited as working with Marvel and DC Comics and those kind of. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, I love comics as well.
Yeah, because it's Marvel Comics is fun to work with, because I was doing digital coloring for Spider-Man, Action Man, Fantastic Four. Wow. Yeah, I even Transformers Armada.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's this comics that I worked in for Marvel Panini for years. It was called Action Man, the greatest hero.
I've heard of Action Man. Yeah.
I used to work on that. It was a great gig at the time. It was a very good gig.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah. I also worked for Titan on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh wow! Was that when it first came out, in the 90s or?
No, in the 2000s.
2000. Was it? Yeah. When did they come out? They came out. Yeah, I think they came out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've worked on that, and I also worked for 2000 AD.
Okay.
You know, the English comic.
Yeah. I've heard of 2000 AD. I mean, like, I'm not like how can I say? I never collected comics to like a high like. I mean, I kind of delved up into music more at a later age. But when I was younger, I used to read loads. I still got a few comics here actually, but I wasn't like a heavy comic geek kind of dude, you know. I used to love my comics, but you get some people that like know the issue. They know like they preserve the comics like in the original form and stuff like that. Like
those are the people, the total geeks.
Yeah, I wasn't that guy though. I mean, I still used to go. I still go. Like, there's a few places in London. What's the place called? You know where they sell? Yeah. Like, there's a few comic places, like big comics.
Yeah, the big main one is Forbidden Planet.
Forbidden Planet, yes. So I have a friend of mine who's the illustrator as well. Whenever he comes over, I always take him there. Or like he always goes, he wants to go and have a browse, and you know, because he buys like action figures and you know things like that. Oh yeah, he's a bit of a geek in that sense. But I do love the culture though. I love the culture. I've always been fascinated by the culture. It's such a cool thing. Do you know much about the new brow art movement?
No, I don't. That sounds interesting.
So I'd say maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, there was this movement that started in like probably LA and that kind of area and came over here, which basically took traditional art and brought it into the 21st century. And basically, how can I say, they made things like graffiti or like using different mediums or anything within the new kind of way of creating art. They made it like to kind of take it up to highbrow art where people can actually be selling things that are, how can I say, you know, like how you airbrush things, whereas a traditional like painter or whatever, or these traditional collectors or, you know what I mean, gallery owners wouldn't necessarily show like artwork like that.
Yeah.
So there was a gallery in Portobello, just off Portobello Road, called the London Miles Gallery.
Oh.
Yeah, this is about 10 when I used to still live down there. And they used to show a lot of this kind of new brow artwork. So it was like graphic art, graffiti, airbrushing techniques, and like all this like weird stuff. And I mean, I still get like I get emailed a newsletter from this company, this online gallery called ThinkSpace. Yeah, so ThinkSpace, they still show like a lot of that kind of art. ThinkSpace, yeah, ThinkSpaceGallery.com. And there's quite a few artists that I follow there, like Brian Iveros and
I must check that out.
Stella M. Altenberg, and like it's literally this new wave of art where it's not the traditional oil on canvas or pastels or blah 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 and stuff that could be sold in. It's literally the new forms and incorporating all the new digital ways of creating art and print. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know. I just assumed you might know about it.
Right. That's what happens when you're sort of like a little bit too sheltered at home.
That's what I was gonna say. Like with the COVID thing, just to go back again, I suppose for us it didn't affect us as much because artists and musicians and people like me, we lock down generally all the time anyway.
Yeah. Because we live to create and lock ourselves away to create and only come out for full fresh air.
Mm.
Yeah. Other people start to turn stir crazy because they're out every day.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I've enjoyed, as bad as it is to say, I've enjoyed the lockdown period. It's given me so much time to finish off so many projects that I've had on hold, you know. And actually,
now you have to make up new ones.
Yeah. Well, it's giving me a better work ethic as well. Like I've got loads of new work coming in from people and stuff, more mixing and stuff. Yeah. So do you have a favorite, do you have any like superstitions, or do you have like a favorite like clothing that you like to wear when you create, or like shoes or something, you know, like something weird?
No, I haven't, but I do sometimes like to listen into jungletrain.net.
Jungletrain.net. What's that, a radio station?
It's a online radio station that just play jungle.
Okay. Yeah.
Bass.
Nice. I do love my jungle and drum and bass as well. I do like that music.
Yeah, because I used to do a lot of record covers for jungle and drum and bass, so that's also quite interesting.
Well, yeah, you must send me all the links to this when email me.
Yes,
I'll put it in the description on the YouTube page as well when I put
it
out.
Yeah, because the last one interview that I'd done was for International DJ magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's been edited and come out yet, but that's quite interesting. Yeah, and I'm also in a group called the Afrocentrics.
Okay, the Afrocentrics. I love Afrocentrism. So you know about Afropunk and that, yeah? Afropunk.
I've heard of Afropunk, but I haven't listened to any.
Well, they're not a band. They're more like a brand that basically support Afrofuturism and anything to do with the movement of African, culture in a more modern setting. Like they've had gigs and like they've hosted gigs all over the world. There's been one in South Africa. There's one in London, Paris. And like people love this whole African new age movement come together to celebrate. I'd say Afrofuturism as well. Actually, Afropunk. Yeah, you need to check them out.
Yeah, because there was this other term. What was it? Daft Punk. Another one. I've forgotten. Yeah, but that's what Afropunk basically nearly sounds like.
Afro, yeah.
Very retro.
Yeah, I love like anything that's. I like. Yeah, my tastes are so broad. It's hard.
Oh yeah, that's it. Steampunk.
Steampunk. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to give me all the links for these things when we finish, so I can put it up. So just to kind of close off the conversation, man. Like, is there anything that you want to plug or like tell us about, or like you said?
Yes, I'd like to tell you about my book.
Yes, awesome.
Yes, my book is a combination of 30 years artwork, doing record covers and rave flyers. Yeah, it's 160 pages.
Wow.
It's hardback.
Hardback.
Yeah, it's a coffee table book, a must-have for anybody who loves art and loves a little bit of social commentary with your artwork. Yeah, I started in 1989 doing artwork, and it finishes off to basically the present day. It's published by Velocity Press.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can't find Velocity Press, you can find my website, and it's on there, juniortomlin.com. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all the usual relevant places. So, social media, because that's what you have to do. You have to plug things through social media. And it would basically be quite interesting trying to sell a book through lockdown, and you can't even have a dedicated what's it called?
Publisher?
Not publisher.
Distributor?
Not distributor. Release.
Okay. Oh, you mean like a launch, like a?
Yeah. We couldn't have a launch yet because of all this COVID stuff.
Yeah. But online is pretty good these days. Do you have a digital copy, like digital version of the publication?
No.
I would say get that as well.
That was only if I sell more copies of the book, because the thing was, I know that there are some people say, "Oh, I've seen the digital version. I don't need to buy the book." And then,
okay.
when I heard that, because some people are like that.
No, yeah, no.
I had that once here with an art exhibition. I took a picture of all the things in my art exhibition, put it online, and then I asked them, "Are you going to come down and see my exhibition?" And said, "Well, no, you put all the pictures up. I don't need to go." And if you think like that,
okay. Okay, yeah, no, that makes complete sense. Don't do a digital release. Just keep it physical so people can buy the book and check out your artwork. Yeah.
So the only thing what I do is that some people like take pictures of some pages of the book, and I just basically repost them so people can see some pages of the book, but not the 160 pages.
Yeah, no, just little teasers and stuff. I suppose that's the best way as well. Is creating some mystery around your release. Are you planning to do any launch at any point, because lockdown has kind of though?
Yes, because I would like to do a launch, and I also like to do sign-ins.
Okay.
And basically, talks, to inspire the Black youth.
Yes.
Like, people like me who's still out there doing it after 30 years.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I'd love to see that. And when you do, please let me know. And also maybe check out London Miles Gallery and check out thingspace.com, because they are like digital publishers, and I think your work would align with a lot of the stuff that they're doing. Definitely.
London Miles Gallery.
London Miles, yeah. Let me see if they still have a link for them. London Miles. Wonder if they're still open. London Miles Gallery. Yeah, it's in. Well, it was. Yeah, Contemporary Art Gallery. And I mean, I used to know the lady. Her name was Tina Ziegler, who used to be the. Yeah, London Miles Gallery. I see they're on LinkedIn. So they call it lowbrow, but I was calling it lowbrow.
Lowbrow.
But if you go, that looks like their domain is for sale. So I'm not sure if they're still going.
If the domain is for sale, that means that the site has been taken down.
Yeah, looks like they're selling their domain. So, but that lady Tina is still there. I still actually have a link. I'll maybe send you a link on LinkedIn or something.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because I met her when I went, because I used to go down there like every Saturday, because I was in Queen's Park. So I used to cycle down there and like go check out the artwork and talk to the people there and stuff, just for fun, because I used to like art and whatever. Yeah, I used to love like all this new wave kind of stuff, well, considered lowbrow art, which is funky kind of stuff. So Junior, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, so it's all new age stuff, because it's like we've gone past the age of like putting a piece of paints on a canvas. Now you can put a piece, you can put pixels on a screen and get it printed out, and still put paints on top of that.
Yeah, and add other medium as well. I mean, I love like just everything. I mean, it's the limits of your imagination. You can take it to any.
Yeah, especially those keep pushing it, and keep pushing it.
Well, Junior, thank you so much for coming on today, man. I really appreciate it, bro. Honestly, it's been such a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I hope it's not the last. I mean, just because it's the podcast, I'll probably get you on again at some point. Hopefully, when you have your launch or.
Can't wait.
And then hopefully we can actually touch base in person at some point, like if if I'm down that side, or if you have a launch.
Yeah.
You come check it out. Or even if you're at the village, maybe, or if you're going for a jam or something.
Even if you come down to the village and let me know, because I only live 20 minutes away from the village.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll definitely let you know, man. So thank you so much for that. And people, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. It's called The Other Side of the Sun podcast, and we had Junior Tomlin today. Peace.
Okay. Peace.